Good morning, America. Happening right now, the North Korean earthquake. Is this another nuclear test? The latest from the region as President Trump targets North Korea's leader again.
Rocket Man should have been handled a long time ago.
His wide-ranging speech overnight on everything from Russia to the NFL to the battle to repeal Obamacare.
We're going to win. It's going to be gone.
Breaking overnight, ready to burst, the life-threatening situation in Puerto Rico in the wake of Hurricane Maria. Fears that a dam could collapse at any moment. Tens of thousands have been told to get out of harm's way.
Me and my cousin still haven't been able to hear from our families over there.
Celebrities hoping to hear from loved ones. We're on the ground helping others get in touch. And we're there for the victories in the fight to save lives.
Close call. Look at this. A small plane crash lands in a neighborhood in California, narrowly missing homes. The passengers who walked away.
Basically parallel parked the plane. Lucky to be alive.
And drone danger, the collision with a Black Hawk helicopter in New York City. The drone apparently flying higher than legally allowed. The new concerns about lives at risk this morning.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Let's take another look at that drone footage out of Puerto Rico. This is the Oaxaca Dam. They're expecting an imminent failure here, which could affect about 70,000 people. We're going to have the very latest from the scene coming up.
Yeah, those people are told to get to higher ground as soon as possible. We're going to start here, though, with another breaking story this morning. An earthquake in North Korea. It's in the same area where the country recently conducted a nuclear test. It comes in the middle of an escalating war of words between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
In fact, the president fired off his latest verbal salvos at a speech overnight in Alabama. We have team coverage this morning, and we start with the latest on that earthquake.
ABC's Jennifer Eccleston is in London. Jennifer, good morning to you.
That's right, Dan and Paula, good morning. Chinese media are reporting a 3.4 magnitude earthquake in North Korea. Now, the last time a tremor was registered in the Korean peninsula, it was a result of a nuclear test. So far, there's been no confirmation from Pyongyang about a possible detonation, but tensions in the region have been escalating after a war of words between the United States and North Korea about its nuclear ambitions. That rhetoric following the detonation of a suspected hydrogen bomb on September 3rd. That blast registered a 6.3 magnitude earthquake. That detonation was Pyongyang's sixth nuclear test and its largest, and all of those tests have been underground. So this morning, the South Koreans are confirming a small quake, with some news reports suggesting the tremor was a natural occurrence. But those reports also indicating today's quake is near that September explosion. And just now, the USGA also saying it was near that explosion, but it cannot confirm whether it was a blast or a normal seismic event. Of course, this follows North Korea's foreign minister's threat to test a hydrogen bomb over the Pacific Ocean and a direct threat from its leader, Kim Jong-un, to take, quote, highest level action against the United States over President Trump's threat to totally destroy the North if America is provoked. Dan and Paula?
Yeah, tensions are high this morning. Jennifer, thanks for your reporting from London this morning. And North Korea was clearly on President Trump's mind as he spoke overnight in Alabama. He was there to campaign on behalf of incumbent Senator Luther Strange, who is facing a tough challenge from a fellow Republican. The election is just days away.
The president also spoke about the embattled Republican health care bill. This morning, he's back in New Jersey, and that's where we find ABC's Stephanie Ramos. Good morning, Stephanie.
Dan and Paula, good morning. That's right. Last night, President Trump on stage in Alabama, hyping up his accomplishments, jumping from topic to topic, including health care and North Korea's leader. The president confident that Kim Jong-un was watching. And then this morning, President Trump is up and at him, tweeting about health care, posting, John McCain never had any intention of voting for this bill, which his governor loves. He campaigned on repeal and replace, let Arizona down. Overnight, the president taking the stage in Huntsville, Alabama.
I love this state, and I love the people of this state.
Rallying for embattled Senate candidate Luther Strange. Trump going after everything from North Korea, even the NFL, to health care. The president still vowing to get rid of Obamacare.
We're going to win. It's going to be gone.
This morning, the GOP health care bill is one vote away from failing, with Senator John McCain shooting it down again. saying in a statement Friday he cannot in good conscience vote for the latest Republican plan. He says a bill of this impact requires a bipartisan approach. It was just a couple of months ago when McCain walked on the Senate floor and gave a thumbs down during a vote to repeal Obamacare. The president telling the Alabama crowd he was shocked.
Totally unexpected thing. Terrible.
And Trump, again, using a nickname to call out North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, ramping up insults toward the dictator.
Rocket Man should have been handled a long time ago.
North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, says Trump is mentally deranged, senile, and old. During that hour-and-a-half speech, President Trump even urged the NFL to fire players who protest racial and social injustices during the playing of the national anthem, even suggesting that punishments for hard hits are ruining the game. And then there's Russia, the president continuing to claim that the Russian tie to him is a hoax, despite the deepening investigation that has narrowed in on Trump's closest connections. Dan, Paula.
Newsy speech overnight and a newsy morning as he continues to tweet. Stephanie, thank you. For more on all of this, let's go to Washington and ABC News political commentator Koki Roberts. Koki, good morning.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing great. Better now that you're here. Let me start with North Korea, where we're dealing with this mystifying news this morning about the earthquake. The president, as you know, has been engaging this war of words with the North Korean dictator. He's called him Rocket Man. He's called him a madman. Is this the smart approach?
Well, as long as it stays words, I guess it's harmless. And Kim Jong-un had all of us yesterday looking up the word dotard, because that's what he called President Trump, and it turns out to mean senile old man or something along those lines. But the fact is that if the president is correct, and if the leader of Korea is a madman, then provoking him is probably not the smartest thing to do.
Let's talk about health care. Shift gears a little bit, Koki. Once again, another health care bill from the Republicans is on life support after Senator John McCain vows to vote no. Now, the president says he's not giving up. He's shown that he can strike deals with Democrats. But do you have confidence that he's going to be able to sway crucial Republican votes to get that done? He just tweeted this, Koki. He said, I know Rand Paul, and I think he may find a way to get there for the good of the party. Do you think he can sway some of those votes?
He might be able to if they put some sweeteners in the bill, but this is a bill that is opposed by the American Medical Association, the American Pediatric Association. Every disease group is against it. The insurance companies are against it. So the only reason that it would pass is that Republicans are saying, well, we promised we would do it, so we'll do it. Whether that gets it all the way through and to a presidential signature is a very, very, very big if.
Long way to go here. Let's sneak in a question about what the president was doing in Alabama overnight. He was there because he's thrown his weight behind the incumbent Senator Luther Strange. Strange is facing a pretty tough challenge from a fellow Republican. If Strange loses, what does that say about Trump's influence?
It says that Trumpism is more important than Trump, because actually Strange's opponent, Roy Moore, is really much more appealing to Trump voters. Now, 80% of the Republicans in Alabama have a favorable impression of Donald Trump. So it's possible that he can bring Luther Strange over the top. But it's an interesting race for him to get into, and to get into on that side. And he said that last night in that long, rambling speech. He did say, maybe I made a mistake. He was almost like he was talking to himself, because he knows that Moore is really much more in his mold. And the president's own cabinet member, Ben Carson, has been campaigning for Moore. Sarah Palin has been campaigning for Moore. And so I think the president's a little bit conflicted there, but he had a great big crowd there in Huntsville, and of course he always loves that.
Yeah, where everybody's interested to see how that race shakes out in Alabama. Koki, thanks for your insight and analysis this morning. And we want to move now to the latest on that dire situation in Puerto Rico, where a dam could collapse at any moment, putting 70,000 people in harm's way.
This is a serious situation, and compounding the misery, the entire island, no power. ABC's Victor Akendo is right there this morning. Victor.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. Those floodwaters can be devastating and deadly. Now tens of thousands of people are being told to get out. That will be much different than what we've seen here in San Juan, where the winds created all this damage. This morning, a new imminent threat forcing 70,000 people in Puerto Rico to evacuate their homes immediately. A crack discovered in the Oaxaca Dam, its surrounding area pummeled by at least 15 inches of rain, sparking flash flood emergencies. Officials warning residents in the area to move to higher ground, fearing it could collapse at any moment. This crisis as desperate cries for help continue across the island, with communication nearly impossible.
I haven't spoken to anyone since midnight on Tuesday.
Hundreds of cars pulling over on the side of a highway, one of the only places with cell service. Even stars like Jennifer Lopez.
Me and my cousin still haven't been able to hear from our families over there.
Ricky Martin.
Donate whatever you can. Just $1 will make a difference.
And Mark Anthony.
But today, Puerto Rico needs your help.
Not able to connect with their loved ones. We're making the drive from San Juan to Ponce. We've had a lot of people from the United States reach out to us saying that they haven't been able to get in touch with their loved ones in that part of Puerto Rico.
We're desperate trying to confirm their whereabouts and that they're doing fine.
We set out to Tere Blanca's father's home, a down power pole and low-hanging lines at the entrance of their community. Inside, Tere's father, Antonio, and his wife, Julie.
So you guys are okay?
Yeah, it's fine. It was terrible.
Safe and sound, just without power or any way to communicate with the outside world.
Do you have a message that you'd like to send to Tere?
I love you, Tere, a lot.
We've been in touch with his family in Miami. They are incredibly relieved, but for so many others, they are still stuck, waiting for word. Dan, Paula?
Such a tough time on that island. Victor, thank you. Our chief meteorologist, Rob Marciano, is also in Puerto Rico this morning.
Yeah, he's been following the heart-wrenching story of a nursing home worker and her struggle to help the elderly patients in her care. Rob, good morning to you.
Dan and Paula, good morning. Here in Old San Juan, day 4 now since the hurricane hit, and conditions really haven't changed all that much. As you see behind me, there's still damage littering this city, and people are just trying to survive, especially those that are giving care to folks that are most in need.
In the wake of Hurricane Maria's destruction across the island of Puerto Rico, finally, a moment of happiness for at least one resident. The generator powering the nursing home where caregiver Maria Ortiz has struggled to keep her elderly parents alive, it's back up and running again. Unfortunately, the pure feeling of jubilation will only last so long.
About how long does a tank last?
8 hours.
It's a temporary fix to a major problem. When we first met Maria and the care center residents 2 days ago, we found them living in sweltering conditions, some clinging to life. The anguish and fear in Maria's voice was undeniable.
We can't let them die. We can't let them die.
But Maria is one of the lucky ones. With communication all but gone on most of the island, she was able to reconnect with her mother, and we were there during the emotional reunion. And even though she's up against unimaginable odds, Maria says she's not giving up anytime soon.
If I can do something and I can get help now, before something happens, I want to do what I have to do, you know?
And while the fuel in that generator is likely to run out today, we have seen a visible increase in military personnel and FEMA staff, so the flow of life-saving supplies should be ramping up today. Dan, Paula?
It's good to hear that the supplies are getting right to where people need it most. Rob, thank you. And we're going to check in with Rob in just a few minutes to get the latest track on Hurricane Maria. But we're going to turn now to a close call for an Army Black Hawk helicopter.
Yeah, the helicopter was flying security missions for the United Nations General Assembly here in New York City when it was hit by a drone. And ABC's Ariel Reshef is on that story. Ariel, good morning.
Good morning to you. That collision happened over a residential neighborhood in Staten Island. It's believed to be the first between an aircraft and a civilian drone. The pilot was forced to land at a New Jersey airport after some tense moments in the sky.
This morning, the U.S. Army is investigating how a drone collided with this Black Hawk helicopter in New York City. This damage to the chopper's blade and window after the drone slammed into it at approximately 500 feet around 8 p.m. Thursday night. In the United States, it's against the law for private drone pilots to fly at an altitude greater than 400 feet. For now, the drone's owner is unknown. The helicopter, based out of North Carolina, was in town to patrol this week's United Nations General Assembly. The pilot was able to land the aircraft safely. This isn't the first close call in the sky between a drone and a helicopter.
We just had had a near mid-air collision with a drone.
Back in August, Massachusetts State Police reported a drone came within 100 feet of one of its choppers.
If people follow the instructions, follow the rules, it is an absolutely avoidable scenario.
And in June, a Charlotte police pilot said a drone inched towards this helicopter while flying over the city.
Had the drone struck the helicopter at that speed, the velocity, through the windshield, it could have been a catastrophic event.
Now, the Army is investigating this latest incident and trying to find the drone pilot. The helicopter is awaiting repairs. Most of the damage, though, guys, was done to the drone itself, so kind of lucky in this situation. But
absolutely,
certainly trying to figure out who was flying the drone so close to the Black Hawk.
It raises a lot of questions about drone safety going forward.
Absolutely.
Ariel, thank you.
Thanks, Ariel.
We're going to turn now to the life or death struggle in Mexico City this morning, where 5 days after that massive earthquake, rescue crews are desperately digging through the rubble right now.
ABC's Matt Gutman is in Mexico City, where Americans are assisting in the search for survivors. Matt, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Paula. This is a scene that is starting to play out across the flattened buildings here in Mexico City. The heavy machinery moving in that crane, lifting huge chunks of concrete. And you may be able to hear the jackhammers in the background. Now, this is something that nobody here in Mexico wanted to see, because it means this is moving from a rescue to a recovery effort.
This morning, as rescue workers are still swarming over the ruins of this flattened office building, desperation is setting in. The death toll rising to over 290 people, most of them here in Mexico City. It's been over 24 hours since rescuers digging out tons of rubble by hand pulled anyone out. And with a cruel reality setting in, these people protesting, accusing the Mexican government of moving too slowly and letting their family members die. The rescue effort here has become international. We joined the LA County Fire Search and Rescue Team with their canines at that same site today.
The fire rescue team says that those 6 stories collapsed so densely that there's no void space, and the concern is that nobody could have survived that.
They huddled before going in, and within earshot of the work on that pile in this tent city were the families of the missing entering their 5th day of waiting. They sat there praying together. And it was right there that we met Fabiola, her brother Angel Sandoval, believed to be trapped. The accommodations where her family have been camping for days spare.
They've been basically sitting on buckets like this.
Sitting there, she said they needed everyone to see their strength. But I asked her how she copes after 4 days.
Después 4 días.
And then even her steel will snapped.
She says her brother's very strong.
But amidst the flattened buildings and sagging hopes, there were spikes of national pride. In the rubble of one building, rescuers spontaneously singing the Mexican national anthem.
Now, minutes ago, we saw rescuers recover one of the victims. Now, the Mexican government still says there is some hope from the victims, but it doesn't have an official list. But what has been most impressive here in Mexico is not just the hundreds of rescuers you see behind me, but the Army, the thousands of volunteers who, on their own dime, have kept up a steady supply chain of food, water, coffee, supplies for everyone here. Guys.
And that spirit of solidarity is also nice to see. Matt Gutman, thanks for reporting from Mexico City this morning. And we want to go back to Rob, as we said, who's in Puerto Rico with the very latest on Maria and the forecast.
Good morning again, Dan and Paula. We've seen rain here in San Juan just about every day since the hurricane. Now the sun is trying to poke out, so some hopeful optimism in regards to the weather today. The storm itself, the hurricane, it is still a Category 3 storm, but today, for the first time in a long time, we have no advisories or warnings out for any coastal areas. It's in the open ocean, at least for now. 120 or so mile-an-hour winds is a Category 3. It's forecast to continue to move north. It will parallel the U.S. coastline, and by the time we get to Tuesday or Thursday, it does weaken, but the forecast cone is now shifting a little bit farther to the west, so that brings the Carolinas into play and potentially the Northeast. We still have to keep a very watchful eye on Maria. That is a quick check on the weather here in the hurricane zone. It's time now for your local forecast.
Hello, good morning, Washington. The first full day of fall, and yeah, it's not going to feel much like fall with highs in the upper 80s today. near 90 degrees on Sunday. Our average high is only in the upper 70s, so yeah, this is well above average. Unseasonably warm, probably the last full day of our full weekend of summer, but we do have some changes on the way. Monday still near 90 degrees, but dropping back in the low to mid 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday with more clouds.